Okay, let me make sure I'm online. Okay, hello, I'm Alex from A.P.Ink. So I'm back with yet another digital painting. This is the one I'm going to be working on this time. So I've got the vector lines. I've got swatches. I'm going to be these are swatches of Prismacolor colored pencils, True Blue, which if you want the hex code, it's 0181B1. This is lemon yellow, which is DBD863. Sunburst yellow, C69643. Magenta, B02B58. And then Scarlet Lake, A63336. I have to say that these are not necessarily the official hex codes for Prismacolor colored pencils or any other color that Prismacolor has. These are based off of swatches that I made and then digitized those swatches. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the lemon yellow first. I'm just noticing that my line art is not one thing, so I'm gonna make it one layer first. Sorry, I thought I had this all prepped, but now my liner is one layer. And then the background color I've got here is based on the toned paper I used to create this on, which if for some reason if you want that color too, the hex code for that is C7B6. Let me start that again. B7, no, I'm sorry. C7BCAA. Let me grab that swatch color again. I'm gonna, excuse me. I'm gonna try to keep track of my layers, so I just started another layer. And I think what I'm gonna do is make sure that my lines are closed. Okay, I think everything is closed. I need everything closed so I can actually use the paint bucket tool. Okay, now I think everything is closed. So here I think I'm going to focus on trying to blend the colors. So starting with true blue and then adding either probably lemon yellow to try to mix a kind of green color. Shoot. Okay, I was painting on the wrong layer. So, okay, let me go through and try to fix what I was trying to fix, and then I'll try to paint on the right layer. Okay. Let me grab that layer color again. Okay, so grabbing lemon yellow. If I'm actually on the right layer, it won't blend like that. I think to try and give this some dimension, I'm going to use lemon yellow on the part that's supposed to be more in the foreground, and then maybe use sunburst yellow in the background here because it would be more in shadow. So I know it looks weird because it's blue. And I did say I was going to try to blend the colors. And that's not off the table, but I just want to see what this looks like if I... Because in nature, there are some trees out there that have more of a bluish green than a yellowish green. I think most of that would be like um pine trees. But if I um create add an effect on this lemon yellow layer, uh, trying to figure out how I want to say this. Uh, so I um turn this into an overlay so it does give more of like a green color because blue and yellow are green. Okay, so grabbing that sunburst yellow, I created another layer. I might go outside the lines here, but I will go back in and clean it up after I get done. I don't know why I never think of this, to actually use the paint bucket tool. I think I will probably give this layer the same effect as the lemon yellow. So it gives it a darker green tone, even if still blue-green. Switching back to the lemon yellow. I think maybe just some detail lines here. Okay, and then I think maybe to add some details to the grass. So I'm using sunburst yellow. Like, I know it's slight, but that seems too dark. Let's try lemon yellow instead. I think maybe a finer brush. Of course, it is a really small detail. Blue grass might not be the worst option because there is grass out there that has more of a blue tone to it. Same with the treetop. I think for now we're going to leave the grass as it is. So I think next I'm going to grab magenta. I did create a new layer, and I'm going to try to work on the bark, the tree. And then over that, I did just create another layer. I think we'll go with the sunburst yellow. I might use both the yellows on this, but I'm going to start with sunburst yellow. I think starting with the shadow, I might end up using an overlay, switching the effect on this to an overlay as well. But to try to give this red tone a more of a brown look. And I might go a bit crazy with this and add some of the true blue to this to try to cool down. So after I put in the tone, the sunburst yellow, and see if it looks good as an overlay effect, I might add true blue on top of that to add a bit more of a shadow. So to push the tone back further. We'll see. I'm probably going to end up bleeding into the bluegrass at the bottom here. I'll clean it up after I get done. I wanted to try to create something that looked like a knot. So maybe there was another part, uh, maybe this was a two-part tree and this part fell down. I just thought it would be kind of interesting to try to make it look like that. As a digital painting, I mean. Try and capture that kind of round color or round look. trying to make these. I mean, I tried to do it when I created the line art to begin with, but to try to emphasize with the color that these reaching roots are kind of like twisted, like it's an old tree. Okay, so let's see what that looks like if I change this to an overlay. It's a bit more red than I was thinking. That's what it looks like, uh, making it a darkened overlay or effect. That's hard light. That does make it look a bit more orange. That's burn. I think that might make it look a little bit too purple. It's hard to not notice it that way. That's making the effects green, but that might be a bit too light. I mean, it almost reminds me of a birch tree, except birch trees don't look like this. That's making it latent effect. That does give it a bit more of a brown hue. Just to see how this works together, I'm going to grab True Blue again. I did create a new layer. Just keeping track of my layers. Okay, let's see what it looks like to add some shadow on top of this. just to see. That's making this layer have a overlay effect. That does gray it out a bit. Let's see. Darken, make it look green. I think the gray look might be the way to go. We'll see how far I want to go with the effects on this, because I'm thinking I might go for another layer on top of this. I don't know, I might play with the effects and see if there's one better than this. I want to try to soften these edges. That might be a bit too harsh. I mean, it could be how I'm putting the color down, it could be the effect I'm putting on the layer. I don't know, this is looking very hot mess. I mean, I don't think I guaranteed that any of these were going to come out okay, so what if I put an effect on the base color? That's burn, so that makes the magenta a lot redder. I mean, here it almost looks purple, which it kind of is, but if I mess with the effect on the base layer, then I kind of have to mess with the effects on the other two layers. I mean, that kind of works. It makes it much more of like a purple tree. And then just to kind of swap between, this is multiply, this is normal. And then I made the sunburst yellow layer burn. And that's making the true blue color shadow layer for the tree darken. These are only the shadows though. I still have to add the highlight, the highlights. So let me do that really quick. So grabbing lemon yellow, just setting up the next layer. I think maybe that's giving this layer the effect of soft light. That's hard light. That's overlay. Okay, that's screen, but maybe if I drop the opacity. I want to lighten the color, the areas here to make it look like the sun is hitting these areas. These smaller details probably don't matter, but just to try to make the shadow highlights make sense. I don't know, maybe as I add more, it'll look okay. I want to try to keep this clean because I am going to add tones here. I think I want to touch up some of the shadows here. So I switched back to True Blue and I made sure I was on the right layer. Okay, maybe for the grass, I might do a new layer and then with the lemon yellow, I will add the smallest bit of highlight. I don't know, just to give it a bit more interest, but maybe it's fine without this. That's soft light. That's overlay. For sure, using the overlay effect makes it pop out more. I'm gonna put it in, and then I can always take it out. Okay. So moving on, I think I'll grab True Blue and fill in this. Oh, I need to start a new layer. I wasn't sure what was going on. Okay, so True Blue, and then I'll just use the bucket to fill. I think I'm going to use the Sunburst Yellow. I know it looks weird, but I'm gonna put effects on both the true blue and the sunburst yellow. I don't know, would you guys consider this digital painting? It's digital. I'm just not sure if this counts for digital painting practice. Okay. I think I am gonna add lemon yellow to this the same way I did to the tree trunk to try to add highlight. But first, going back to the true blue layer, I want to give this more of like a gray tone. Okay, taking out the background color so we can actually see what's going on here. Which, doing that, I know that affects like the tree trunk color, the magenta layer. Okay, maybe it doesn't. I'm just turning that background layer back on because nothing was doing anything. I mean, that gives it more of a gray, or at least a lighter blue tone, which there are rocks out there that can have a natural kind of blue tone. I might be stuck with the blue tone, which is fine. I'm just trying to see if any of these effects make me happy. Because if nothing else, I could just go normal and then drop the opacity, which clearly without the background, dropping the opacity makes it see-through. But moving on to the sunburst yellow shadow layer here. So that's turning the sunburst yellow layer, giving it a burn effect and then dropping the opacity. Just grabbed lemon yellow to try to add highlight. And then right away, try to add a effect to this. I mean, I am trying to stick with the tones that I've got swatched here, but I might have to just bring white into this. Okay, maybe that works. And then I might just drop the opacity for it. I think I might diffuse this a bit just to take out the harsh lines, so to blur it. Okay, and then drop the opacity, maybe? Maybe not. Let's see what it looks like if I add that background color. Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure if I should keep that background color on or not. But having the background color on, I've got to definitely bring the opacity of that highlight on the rock down. I'm not sure I like that, but I'm gonna let it set and we're gonna move on to the next. So I think for the background here, I think we're gonna go true blue again. And then I'm just gonna just to put in like a sky color. Okay, so I put a soft light effect on that layer. And I think I'm gonna grab lemon yellow again. Now I had used the add effect here for the stone. Wait, what? I accidentally turned off a new layer and I thought it just deactivated something, which didn't make any sense. Okay, um, okay, so I added a new layer, and I think what we're gonna do is maybe with the sparkle brush and using an add effect. I'm gonna try to put in kind of like wispy clouds. I'll clean this up after, but I think having that kind of uh, uneven edge works for kind of like a wispy cloud. And I think we'll put in another one here. I might drop the opacity for this layer. Just to help push that kind of wispy look. So it kind of gives it an even more kind of mottled look. Like, I don't know if it's coming up on camera for you guys, but there's like white, blue, and yellow in this mix, which is kind of interesting. Okay, and then I think to add a bit more detail here, so I started another layer, and with the same lemon yellow, I'm going to switch back to the watercolor brush. I don't know. Maybe I should use that sparkle brush, but we'll try it first with the watercolor brush. I'm not sure I actually have lemon yellow. I think that might be sunburst. Okay, I guess that was lemon yellow. It's just looking kind of dark. So just trying to follow the top edge. Okay. And then it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to give it kind of a glowing look. Okay, maybe just normal, like no effect, and then just lowering the opacity, and maybe to soften the edges to blur it. Maybe I should blur the cloud edges too. Okay. And then I think for these detailed areas, whoops, let me start another layer. So this is just with lemon yellow. And then I think sunburst yellow. I will clean this up after. I do think I'm going to add an effect to these. Make this mustard yellow, or sunburst yellow, more of a shadow. It does look kind of mustardy on top of this lemon yellow. I'm not sure if the shadow on this bottom corner is accurate, if the light source is supposed to be like up here. Okay. And then to put an effect on that, on the sunburst yellow, that's burn. That's normal. Maybe it's fine as is. I think I'm gonna leave this one here. Let it sit for a minute and see if this actually works or not. Um, but yeah, thank you to anybody who hung out while I was working on this. Uh, yeah, if you'd like to hang out with me again next time, please make sure that you're following me and that your notifications are turned on. If you're watching afterwards on YouTube, please make sure that you're subscribed so that you're notified for the next time I post a video. But other than that, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.